Okay, well, hello. Welcome to another episode of Musical Musings. I'm Jack.
I'm Callum.
I'm Jamie.
And today is... Hold on. Hold on.
Today is...
Sorry, I was just like, hello.
I feel like Barack Obama. Let me be clear.
Fellow Americans.
My fellow Americans.
Today we'll listen to Genesis.
Yeah. No, come on.
Michelle, I love the live most down the Broadway.
Michelle, bring my favorite album on vinyl. No, today is one of my picks.
Piss on your grave.
Yeah. I love Travis Scott.
Love that shit.
Rodeo. Okay. Anyways, no, today is none of those artists or songs. Today we're going to be listening to Inca Roads by Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. It's from his album One Size Fits All from 1975. And yeah, if you want to check that out now, come back. I don't know why I'm laughing. Come back when you're done and listen to us talk about it. I don't know why I'm explaining the podcast.
We do it every time.
Yeah. This could be someone's first episode.
It could. Just as a quick, like, before we even get into it, the album's from 1975?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought Frank Zappa was like a way more recent artist than that.
No, Frank Zappa died in like 1993.
I didn't know he was dead.
Yeah.
Who the fuck am I? Maybe I am confusing him with like Frank Ocean.
You might be confusing. Frank Zappa was like active from like 66 to like 93 and they died. Yeah. He made like an insane amount of albums. Super prolific.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well done. And it was Frank Zappa and...
Yeah, so his band is called the Mothers of Invention.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he was like collaborating with
Yeah.
another band or something like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, the link is in the description. Check it out, and we'll be back in a minute.
All right, well, that was Inca Roads by Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. What are you guys' thoughts?
Well, as I said, when the song finished, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed because there's a lot going on in that song.
It is a lot, yeah.
I don't really know, like, I can only assume when they wrote this song, they were like...
On something?
Yeah, like, they had to be, like, on another planet, like...
Well, I'm going to blow your mind because Frank Zappa actually notoriously did not do any drugs.
No.
And he wouldn't allow anyone in his band to do drugs.
Was he like straight edge?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. So this was all written sober. So what does that tell you about Frank Zappa?
Okay,
He had something wrong with him.
Yeah, well, no, if that's not the case, then I could only assume this, like, came to him in a dream. Because that's what it made me think of, is, like...
He saw it in a vision.
Yeah, like, you know when you're in a dream state and, like, everything, like, makes sense while you're in the dream, but then when you wake up, you're like, what the fuck was that?
You go through,
that's
like,
what this song is.
You go through the wildest events and you're like, right.
And the whole time you're in the dream, it doesn't occur to you that, like, oh, this isn't real. Like, I'm dreaming. Like, unless, like, you're someone who lucid dreams.
I had a dream at one point that was like, I remember being able to kill people by looking at them out of the corner of my eye, and I just accepted it. I was just like, so how do I use this? And then I woke up and I was like, the fuck was what?
That checks.
That's such a you dream, yeah.
But, yeah, that's what this song makes me think of. If they weren't, like, tripping, then... He must have had some kind of, like, epiphany in a dream. But I also feel like if I listened to this song again high, I would, like, get something out of it or have some kind of, like, epiphany of, like, oh, that's what this song is.
I don't even think, though, that it's necessarily meant to, like, be anything deeper than, like... I mean, I guess, okay, it's talking about the mountains. Right, like, did a vehicle come from somewhere out there just to land in the Andes? Was it round and did it have a motor, or was it something different? Right? Did a vehicle fly along the mountains and find a place to park itself, or did someone build a place to leave a space for such a thing to land? So he said, like, did Native Americans like build this landing spot for the UFO to land? Now, as far as the Booger Bear or the Guacamole Queen at the Armadillo in Austin, Texas, that I have no idea. I can't comment.
It's got to be from a dream. Like, it's so nonsensical that I can't think of another explanation.
Yeah.
Like,
the music almost sounds like, do you know that condition where it's almost like you can see or smell or like taste something and it associates a sound, or something? It's something like that where it's like one of your senses plays into every other one in a weird way.
Yeah.
It could be something like that. I feel like if you like he might have had something like that, and he saw a race of some kind, and this was what he was hearing. I don't know. The lyrics sound like somebody making them up as they go along. It's like not meted out correctly.
Well, this actually uses. It says this is from Wikipedia. Inca Roads uses mixed meter. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different time signatures in the song.
Yeah.
So that's why it's all over the place.
It sounds like that. Like, what is it? What's the song that like it's got a really weird line? I think it's a Taylor Swift song that I heard on the radio, and it's just like one of the lines is just like wrong.
I never thought.
Is it new?
I think so. The line is like you made it's like you made a really deep cut. But there should be like 2 words there, so she just like weirdly drags out the line.
Isn't that Bad Blood?
I think so, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, it's like we used to have Bad Blood. You made a really deep cut. And it's like that.
Stretching out the syllables.
It's like you just didn't know what else to say. And it's the same thing where it feels like he was listening to the music and was just trying to like sing along to it and like fucked it up and was like, oh, we're keeping it.
I mean, I feel like it goes along with the vibe though, just like the sheer insanity of it, where it's like...
It's nonsense.
Yeah, it is.
The beginning of like the instrumental sounded well. Before we started recording, we took a quick break and we started talking about old cartoons and stuff. And from then on, once we started listening to it, I was like, I feel like I'm like watching Dora the Explorer, like some kind of like cartoon jungle, like yes, like with like a twist. Yeah, for sure. And then like partway through the song, it changed to almost sound like something out of like a video game more than kids cartoon.
There was a point where I could see it being in a game of some kind.
What did you guys think of the guitar solo? Because I have an interesting fact about that.
It was fucking awful.
Really?
It was.
I liked
it was everything.
That was the one part of the song that I was like, okay, like this isn't so bad.
It's everything I dislike in a guitar solo.
Really?
It's like pointless and adds nothing to the music. And like if you removed it, you wouldn't know it was missing.
See, Frank,
like it doesn't play along with the music at all.
I feel like that's why I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, probably because it was different.
Yeah.
This kind of thing of like, if you listen to a lot of solos by like Billy Talent or Green Day or something like that, because those are my favorite bands, and it's the ones I always refer to. Even like the Killers don't do solos super often. But you can replace, it's like the guitar replaces a line, and you know what line it's replacing.
Right.
And when it doesn't do that, it still like fits the song, and the song wouldn't feel out of place. It doesn't feel out of place at all. This feels like it's like, all right, we did all the other shit. Play the guitar for 3 minutes. Just kind of do whatever you want, and then we'll get back to this.
Well, this guitar solo was actually taken from a live recording of a completely different song, and was just spliced in. Zappa would use this technique called xenocroxy, where he would do that. He would record almost all his shows.
It's a game by Nintendo.
Is it actually?
No, Xenoblade is.
Oh, okay. And so he'd just take guitar solos or different parts of the music and like splice it into different songs. So the song was actually the backing track was also recorded live, but that guitar solo was taken from a completely different
that explains
performance.
That's why it just feels like showing off and not like it actually accentuates the song. It's because it wasn't for that song.
But I don't think. I mean, I feel like I don't get the showing off part because it's not like a virtuoso kind of like. It's very much like, you know, just kind of in the background, like.
I also feel like the part of the song before the guitar and after are very like polarized, like they're different from each other. Like the way that the lyrics are sung and just like the instruments in the background, like they sound like they could have been 2 different songs, and the guitar kind of like
it's like a third different song in between. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like
it's pretty bananas.
It doesn't like separate the song at all because it sounds like it could be 3 different songs.
Yeah, but because it's one. Yeah, but it's like one incoherent mess.
I should note that it is Frank Zappa plays the guitar too,
yeah, like it's meant to be, like you said, it's meant to be tongue in cheek. It's like it's meant to be crazy, and like I get it. They succeeded. It sounds crazy, but just like, and like, why would I listen to it?
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Like just trying to listen to this what's song. One good reason? Like, why would I want to play this and listen to it?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I this is one of my favorite Frank Zappa songs. I like the song a lot.
That's why I like to pick your brain on stuff like that, because like, can you give me one good reason why?
Like, what scenario would you be like, I'm going to put this song on?
Other than to torture me.
That's a good question.
Like, you know how some people like have like, oh, like a walking to class song, or like a song they like sing in the shower. Like,
yeah, like I separate my playlist by mood.
Yeah, like I feel like you can,
I
separate
could
your
see
songs
my
by
doing.
situation.
I could see myself listening to this song while doing homework.
How would you focus?
You don't think that would be distracting?
That is.
No,
I feel like that is the absolute last thing I was
No.
expecting you to say.
Because I'll tell you why. Because to me, the more chaotic the sound is, the easier it is for me to just kind of accept it as like white noise.
Interesting.
So I would listen, like I used to in high school, I listened like free jazz while I did my homework.
That makes sense.
And it was just like, and it would just kind of be like,
It's just
noise, right?
But there's a difference between like wanting noise and wanting music.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Like I would never look at this song and be like, I like that music. Like maybe it says something, and it's kind of thing that's like, maybe it's even like Dust Bowl Dance when I brought that song up, where it's like, this isn't a song you're gonna listen to all the time. This is a song you want to listen to like in a very specific time, like to experience.
Yeah,
But
like when you're tripping balls on acid or something.
like something. But I can't think of one scenario where it'd be like, you know what, I want to listen to that.
I mean, I like that it doesn't take itself seriously. I like the vocals.
But like so much music doesn't. Like
yeah, but this is like very silly.
It is.
And I like songs that are like all over the place. So I like how musically like complex it is, because it's just like the stop and start, and like if you
the question of what is musically complex and what is like not music.
I gotta wonder how many.
Well, I don't think you could say that this is not music.
No,
I mean,
but it's just like what like
it's very musical.
there can be lots of things that are musically complex because they're done badly. Like if you play the guitar wrong, it can just be musically complex.
Well, yeah, but I don't think that's the case with this at all.
No, I'm just wondering like what that line is for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that in terms of this specific song, like I think of Frank as like an incredible composer, because that's his main contribution, other than his guitar work, I think is being an established composer. And I mean, the fact that all of this is like written out and like this is played, like this isn't like improvised. You know what I mean?
It's like this is how you play
this is how you play this. And like it's really difficult, and obviously that doesn't make a good song. Like something can be super difficult and it's not very good. But that's the thing I like, is because like Frank is not like, again, I'm acting like
you and Frank were really good
yeah,
times
we were
before
really
he died
tight.
10 years before you were born.
Exactly, yeah. He communicates me from beyond the grave.
Frank Zappa possesses you. That explains a lot.
I meant to say he communicates with me, but yeah, sure, from me. I think that I like the fact that it's very complex, but the lyrics almost kind of balance it out, where it's like it's not pretentious because they're talking about
like they set up like the instrumentation. The instruments take themselves seriously, and the vocals bring it down a level to like more casual listening. I guess is that what you can say.
I don't think you could call this casual listening.
It's not what I would call it.
But I know what you mean.
Well, it's kind of thing of like we listen to The Lamb Lies Down. Like I'm gonna ride on The Lamb Lies Down a ton because there's so much with that I don't like. But one of the things I didn't like the most about The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway was just like how up its own ass it felt.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like you aren't making a Broadway musical.
Mm-hmm.
You're making an album.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that you have a song in there that's just there to torture us while we wait for fucking like Peter to get a goddamn tea, soothe his voice. Super obnoxious. So this is better than that in terms of like it doesn't want to be that, and I appreciate that more.
Mm-hmm. I think this is painting what you're hearing in real time is what happened in the late 70s when punk music came about, and it was basically purposefully created to be like antithetical to all like the excess and like craziness of prog rock.
It's why punk is like 2-minute songs,
right?
Yeah,
and like I think people were fed up with groups like Genesis, yes, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and you had groups like the Sex Pistols and the Ramones, and it was like the complete opposite of
this music does feel bloated. I think that is a word that comes to mind. And it's not even necessarily like I don't like the individual parts. It's just the same thing. Like it's the same issue I had with The Lamb Lies Down, where it's like individually I can look at these things and be like, this is impressive and this is good. It's just overlaid insanely and way too fucking long. That solo goes on for like 3.5 minutes, and it's like I cannot listen to this. Like it's not adding anything to the music here. I might as well just listen to an instrumental that's better than this.
I think we just want different things in our music.
There is another song. Maybe I'll do it Well, I think next month we're going to do a themed month, which we'll talk about at the end of this episode, probably. So it might be 2 months before we get to it. But there's a song called Goats by Polyphia. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one.
I've heard of Polyphia.
I think you would really like the way the instruments are, because it sounds like what you liked about this song, you would like about them more.
Okay.
And they're a little more hard rock.
Yeah.
It's just instruments.
Okay, so it's instrumental.
It's instrumental. But that, like, the art in the pauses, the art in how the instruments are overlaid over each other, and stuff like that, they do a really, really good job with that. So maybe we'll pick up that song sometime.
Did you guys like the keyboard solo?
Yeah.
It's just so long, man.
I don't know. I can appreciate the guitar, but not the keyboard. Nah.
Yeah.
I think Sorry, please go.
A thought that I had was, I don't know if you would know this, but I wonder how many instruments were used to make this song.
Actually, I can find it right now.
Okay, because I am genuinely curious. It's got to be a lot.
So
Frank
Zappa is on guitar and backing vocals. George Duke, lead vocals, keyboards, and synthesizer.
Frank Zappa isn't even the main singer?
No.
Why is it named after him? Is he just like the guy who does most of the work behind
He writes all the music.
Okay.
And he does sing on some songs.
Yeah.
But
that is interesting, because I feel like most bands you get like that's named after the vocalist. It's rare that you get a band named after like somebody doing backing vocals and doing more technical stuff. So that's pretty cool.
The only time you hear Frank is on the spoken word bridge, where he was like, Mother Mary and Joseph.
My favorite parts of music, the spoken word bridge.
That was Frank Zappa and Napoleon Murphy Brock, who also plays flute, tenor saxophone, and backing vocals.
I knew there was a flute in there somewhere.
Tom Fowler on bass, Chester Thompson on drums, and Ruth Underwood on vibes, marimba, and percussion.
Interesting. So they have like a percussion. They have a drummer, and they have like an other percussion guy.
Like auxiliary percussion.
Yeah.
And actually, you might have noticed they mention Chester and Ruth in the song.
Do they like name drop the members of the band?
Well, they say, or leave a space for Chester's thing to land. And then
Chester's thing on Ruth.
Yeah, on Ruth, which is referencing Ruth Underwood, the other percussionist. And then the outro is on Ruth. That's Ruth, whatever. So, anyways, that was Inca Roads.
It sounds like a marble race. Have you ever seen those?
No.
It's just like you like set them up, or like a Rube Goldberg machine. You know what that is?
No.
It's like you have like a ping pong ball and you just like set it going on this track that plays music, and it just kind of has this this insane track that goes with it. It feels like that, like music in motion.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like we just set up a bunch of shit and like throw a ball at it and see where it went.
Mm-hmm.
It's like electroplankton.
I see that.
Also, I want to show you guys a picture of what Frank Zappa looked like, because I think that's important too.
Yeah, for the listeners. I can always put them up on screen, but I'm not going to.
Because he has a very distinct look to him.
What does that mean? He's either like beautiful or like fuck ugly. He looks like Borat.
Yes.
Yeah, his
so beautiful.
His mustache is like his defining.
Yeah.
I think it's the giga soul patch is the defining thing. Dude takes a fucking ruler to that, like
straight edge.
Yeah, it's like when you're like doing right angles in math class and you have to take out, what is that, like the protractor? And he's like angling it and he's like, cut here.
So anyways, I like that song, but I picked it specifically because I knew that we'd get some different reactions.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say I picked it because I knew Callum would hate it.
Well, it's the same thing, like, it's not even like I hate it. Like, it wasn't... It's the same reason that I dislike so many songs that Jack picks, in a way, is because it's, like, so close to being good, and then it just, like, doubles in fucking one. And I think any song that goes beyond 4 minutes is on a fucking timer. And it's like... once it hits 4 minutes, it's just like every minute you go past this, you need to be doing something incredible, or you are wasting my time. Because no song needs to be longer than that, and if it is longer, it needs to be doing something really fucking good.
I'm gonna pick a 20-minute song.
I know.
No, I'm joking.
But this thing, like, if you compare something like this to like Bohemian Rhapsody, it's like that song is how fucking long is Bohemian Rhapsody? Like 8 minutes, 9 minutes?
I think 6.
Is it only 6? So much is in that song, and that song is so good that like the length doesn't matter.
I would argue there's a lot in this song too, though.
There is, but I'm just waiting for this to end, and because like the solos are so long, it's like this isn't adding anything. it's just noise while I'm waiting for something like the singing to come back.
Mm.
If you remove the solos, this song is 4 minutes.
I think you just have an unnuanced view of what...
I'd probably prog rock, which I hate.
Because to me, the solos are like an integral part of the music.
I don't think they are. I think they don't add anything.
Because it creates the vibe of the rest of the song.
Maybe. Shouldn't the lyrics be doing that? Shouldn't the
I think it
feeling
depends
be doing
on the
that? Obviously, yeah.
But that's a very like narrow way of looking at it.
It is, yeah. And like, well, when we get to
you need
instrumental,
to tell me what you feel.
when we get to
it's a more
instrumental, obviously,
artful way
it's
to
gonna be a
do
different
it,
way.
right?
I just don't think you need it to be that long.
Yeah.
I definitely agree that the song was longer than it probably needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think I'll listen to it again.
I didn't think so. But
It's
it was an interesting one to listen to for the podcast, and
yes,
kind of
it was a
dissect
good pick for the podcast because like differing opinions and like
Yeah.
again, your points weren't wrong.
Mhm.
Like there's nothing you said that I'm like I disagree with you.
Mhm.
It's just to me the length is such a game changer, and for you it clearly doesn't matter.
yeah.
It reminds me of it's a band that Meg likes. I think it's called like Snarky Puppy, and it's just it's just like freestyle jazz, and it's like this is cool for 2 minutes, and then it's like
It goes on for like 20.
this is like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it ends, and it's like okay.
I would love for us to do like a jazz month. I think that would be awesome.
I don't think I could bring anything. I don't think I listen to any jazz.
Like, I would love to hear you guys listen to like Bitches Brew or something.
I mean, you can bring an individual jazz song. Like, there's nothing
I don't
stopping
think that has to be like a theme.
Right. But
I don't think I could bring a jazz song.
Sure.
I think I just distinctly don't like jazz. I don't like the lack of structure, which kind of points.
Well, there is some jazz fusion in this song, especially near the end.
Maybe that explains
So
why I
that
like
could explain why too.
I like my structure too much in music.
Yeah. Okay.
But that was
Alas.
What was that?
Inca Roads.
Inca Roads by Frank Zappa. An interesting song.
Yes.
I'm glad we experienced it.
I'll probably bring some more Zappa eventually. So.
Must be good in a few months.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe.
You did it this time.
Oh, well, I mean,
I guess you
I
don't
was
need
the
me
host for this
Yeah,
episode.
that's true.
It's my show. Welcome to Musical Musings with Jack.
Do you want to edit?
Yeah, no.
I don't think so.
Do all that stuff, and we'll see you in the next one.